We all face the following questions at some point of time in our career. Why is this happening to me? Why do we have to go through all this change? Why don't my manager communicate better to me? Hi everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I am Barathan. I share interesting stories and concepts from the books and articles I read. As a head of business, I keep thinking if the commercial team reduces the price, I can sell more. Why R&D team is not developing the product wanted by the customers? Why manufacturing team is not reducing the lead time? I feel most of us come across these type of questions in our day-to-day life. But my perspective was completely changed when I read the book Questions Behind the Questions, that is QBQ. It was suggested to me by Bhaskar Natarajan. Bhaskar Natarajan is a certified CXO coach and performance consultant, helping many leaders and organizations across different industries to bring out their hidden talents, upgrade their skills, and handle the complex situation. To put it across in a simple word, how Krishna guided Arjuna in his career, Bhaskar Natarajan is helping so many Arjunas. Thank you so much, Mr. Bhaskar, for taking your time and joining in this video. When you suggested this book to me, I felt it will be really good if you have an interactive session with you, clarifying a lot of my points as well.
Thank you for your kind introduction and kind words. I take pride in working with young entrepreneurs, startup founders, and also business leaders like you, Bharathan. You have been working with me for the last 1 year or so. Likewise, there are many through virtual and even in-person meetings. I have a glimpse into their day-to-day challenges. And sometimes, when we talk about what issues they are facing, an idea pops in my head. And I feel, they would benefit from reading a book or listening to a podcast or even watching a YouTube video or reading an article. So I just suggest them, if they could pay attention to that. And there are many who are like you, who take that to heart and read or listen or watch that resource and try to apply it to their life. And I'm really impressed with the way you have taken it to heart. It's a very small book, and I thought it'll be easier read for you. It's about 115 pages to be exact. And when you said you're traveling, I thought this could be a good companion when you're waiting in the airport lounge and so on. And it turned out to be like that, right?
Recently, I traveled to Ireland. It's almost like 18 hours of flight journey. You won't believe I never slept during the complete journey because I was reading a couple of the books you suggested. The first book is QBQ. Actually, I was planning to make some 30 slide presentation for my managing director. But after reading this QBQ, the complete perspective got changed. Instead of making in a very like a detailed presentation, I made in a one-page note, like what are the key points I would like to discuss. Instead of allocated time of 30 minutes discussion, the meeting went for almost like 1.5 hours.
Wow.
And more than that, the outcome of the meeting was really a surprising fact because I was not sure how my managing director will take up this type of discussion. Because a lot of my friends, colleagues whom I met, they go through a lot of questions similar to which this book is trying to answer. So I like to hear more from you about this book.
Sure. In fact, one of my mentors told me that the power is not in the giver, the power is in the receiver. Yeah. Since you were open to receive these messages, it was very impactful for you and continues to be guiding principle for you. And I'm sure you'll reach great heights with such a mindset of receiving inputs, feedback, and trying to incorporate that in your style and the way you work. The subtitle reads, Eliminate Blame, Complaining, and Procrastination. Don't we all want that? Yeah. So the concept of QBQ is there are 3 guiding principles. Start the question with what, not why.
Why?
Right. The second principle is use I more often rather than they, you, or him or her. That way, there is a personal accountability. And the last principle is about include action in terms of what can be done about it. So the simple question would look like this: when we incorporate all the three guiding principles, what can I do? Right? That's as simple as that. And it works with family, it works with business, it works with clients in any situation. And Bharathan, as you rightly mentioned, many a times, whether I'm a sales professional or I'm with HR or I'm with supply chain, there's always a blame game that's happening in terms of I could have done a better job only if
they
he
have
or
done
she
something.
had done their job, right? And also, we're all human beings. We have a good amount of healthy ego. Successful people have more ego, right? The more the personal accountability reduces, the more challenges the person will face.
Yeah, even during the presentation, what I was making to my managing director, I made some 30 lines where I need a lot of price reductions. But after reading this book, I thought there is no point of discussing the price reduction. Maybe I need to find out a better customer for our product. So that is a mindset change has happened. So that made me to scrap most of my presentation and stick to the core points which I need to discuss.
There are three things I want to share for those who are listening. One is look at these three guiding principles with a fresh pair of eyes, because you may be a senior colleague, a CXO level leader, you may be a mid level manager, or even a entry level, starting your career, whatever the stage you are in. Look at this with a fresh perspective and see where all you could apply in the next 15-20 days.
Okay.
That's where the power comes in. It's not a good concept just to talk about and book in the shelf. Spaced repetition, which is scientifically proven that you go and revisit some concepts at a regular interval, you start retaining the information and start imbibing it and practicing it. The chances are far higher than just reading it one time.
So the main concept of this book is all about this personal accountability.
Yes, absolutely. Half the problems would get resolved when I start thinking about how am I being a problem, what I can do about it, what actions I need to take at my end to change the outcomes that I desire. That's all it boils down to.
This buck stops here.
Yeah. So one may ask, everything is not in your hands, right? Everything is not in your control. Obviously, Steve Jobs, I can see his picture behind you.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs would not have been successful if he kept, thinking that there is no problem with the market or way people are consuming music. What I can do to disrupt.
Yeah.
That is how I see it. Even the picture of Mr. Ratan Tata, how he disrupted the automobile industry. So it's the thinking, it's the question behind question that we sometimes fail to ask. Yeah.
And even when I was reading this book, I was having a thought like we can able to achieve our goal with what we have right now, without thinking about I should have this to achieve my goal, or otherwise I need this type of support from my team members. So instead of that, what I have right now, I can able to achieve with that itself. So that is the one key point which came to my mind when I was reading this book.
Absolutely. If only I have more budget, if only I have more time, if only many people supported me, those questions will take us nowhere.
Yeah. Instead, try to do what we have right now. With that, we'll try to achieve that.
Yeah, absolutely. And perhaps innovative solutions are emerging only through this thinking.
Yeah.
Right. When resources are constrained, when time is of essence, when pain is more, that's when innovation happens and new things come out.
Correct. But generally, we most of us we work in a team, and whenever we review our team as a mid managers or senior managers, whenever we review the team, we generally ask a lot of why you are unable to achieve. But after reading this book, it's more of understanding the what and how scenarios. Can you please throw some light onto it?
Absolutely. So, when you have a team reporting to you, they all look up to you for direction. And when you take it upon yourself that I have to provide answers, it's going to cripple or kind of limit their freedom to choose, their autonomy and their ability to shine. So the question behind question is more about how can I support you?
Yes.
So as a manager, when I ask that question, they'll start thinking in a direction where I need to involve my boss, without appearing to be incompetent, right? So many a times they hold back all those questions and ideas because they feel if I'm vulnerable, I'll be seen as incompetent,
Incompetent.
not
Correct.
able to handle my own issues. Whereas when the boss is asking, "How can I help you?" It's more opening up of doors, and team members would be comfortable sharing. I don't know. Can you help me with thinking through this problem, A, B, and C? Okay, then that's what they want. They don't want me to do their job, for them, right? It's about how to approach a particular problem, how to open certain doors when it seems to be impossible to crack open those deals or work with such difficult clients. That's the support they need. So the QBQ approach in managing team is also very powerful. You could guide them with certain simple questions where they would and encourage them to take more personal accountability.
Yeah. Even most of the time, we try to find out the culprits, but we are never interested to what motivated them to do that.
Very well said. So, one example would be, a conversation between a manager and a team member, where the team member feels absolutely, deflated, not knowing what to do, how to take, things forward. And that's when the manager steps in with the QBQ approach to say, what else you could do at your end. I understand the market is really bad. I understand the factors are against you. What is within your control that you could do?
Hmm.
That way, I think it'll help the person to reframe and think differently and thereby come up with better ideas and solutions.
After reading this book, I was also just thinking most of these concepts can be even implemented in our personal life.
Yeah.
And more than that, how we develop our kids.
You are a wonderful parent. I have heard so many wonderful stories about Ira and how you have faced her questions, the curiosity based questions. I think you can, throw one or two instances from your personal life on how, your role modeling into running
Yeah.
motivated her to sign up for one.
Yeah,
Right.
even recently, my daughter is a 5 year old. So I used to run a lot of marathons. So whenever I come back home, I used to give the medal to her.
Yeah.
So when there was one kid event, it's called Bangalore Jatri. It was organized by a few of my friends. So I signed up my daughter for a 3 kilometer run, and she was asking when can we practice. So like we had some like 10 days of practice session. I made her to walk, run 2 kilometers, and then she is able to run comfortably the 3 kilometer distance. You won't believe she never stopped anywhere.
Wow.
I was asking her to stop and drink water, but she was feeling very confident. And after finishing the run, she was giving the pose with the medal. That was really, I could able to sense that how as a parent we are influencing our kids.
Yes.
So
Yes.
while reading this book, we feel like a lot of this personal accountability concepts. Even we can also try to educate our kids, and we can also implement as a parent. with a lot of scenarios, like if they're not going to the school regularly, then maybe we can try to discuss with them, try to understand what went wrong, and try to fix it up. So a lot of different thought process and different ideas I got after reading this book.
Yeah, absolutely. And earlier, it used to be a big challenge. Uh, as soon as kids get up, who will make up the bed, right? The earlier strategy was, why can't you do it? It's a simple thing. As soon as you get up, you should do it, and blah blah. Okay. And then over a period of time, Lavanya, my wife, she started doing it with no expectation. She would just do it. That's it. And looking at her modeling that behavior, all of us started following. So yeah, personal accountability could also be modeled. You don't have to lose a lot of energy and shout and have animosity between people. Personal modeling of that behavior also has huge benefits, and especially in the family and friends circle, it's really wonderful to see that modeling. And please do comment on this video below of what takeaways you got and how you're applying these concepts in your personal and professional life. We would love to hear from you.
And thank you so much for taking your time and for this wonderful discussion with this wonderful book.
My pleasure, Varadhan. Any collab like this, it's really wonderful. And I think when we read any book, we should do a session like this to bring out more and more nuances, so people are encouraged to go and read.
Yeah.
Sure. Take care.
Thank you so much. Yeah. We'll meet you next week with one more interesting topic. Till then, it's goodbye.